In our series, The Dish Recipe, we showcase one easy-to-follow recipe. Leading up to the 35th anniversary of the James Beard Awards this month, we're spotlighting recipes from previous James Beard nominees. Three-time nominee Anita Lowe once helmed the Michelin-starred restaurant Anissa. An Iron Chef winner and Top Chef master, Lowe now hosts global culinary tours with Tour de Forks. We met her at the Beards Foundation's Platform Kitchen, where she shared her recipe for marinated steelhead trout.
Hi, my name is Anita Lowe, and I host culinary tours around the world with a company called the Tour de Forks. The dish we're making today is a miso-marinated steelhead trout with its roe and with kombu. I love this steelhead trout from Hudson Valley Fisheries. It's got a very rich texture. If you can't find this trout, you can use any sort of salmon. So first we're gonna make the miso marinated. And again, this is a sweet miso. You'd have to buy this in your Japanese store. You could buy it online, but you could substitute a mild white miso with a little bit of sugar. Then I've got some dry sake, and I'm gonna start mixing it. So here is some mirin, which again is the sweet sake. Here is some yuzu juice, and to this I have the bottom of a scallion, and I'm just gonna score it a little bit so some of the flavor comes out. And that's it. So I'm gonna make some portions right here, and I'm just gonna mix it around, and then we're going to layer it in here. This is going into the refrigerator for 3 days. So now we're going to be making the dashi, and this is a Japanese soup stock base that is in a lot of different Japanese preparations. And for that we need some kelp, which is kombu. And then we're going to put it into about a quart of water here, and I'm just going to bring it to a boil. This is the original way of making dashi, but nowadays you can buy little packets. It's very, very easy. It's just like making tea. And I'm going to turn off the heat and immediately add the bonito flakes. This is a dried fish that adds a slightly smoky, deeply umami flavor to this broth. Now that this is steeped for 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to pass this through several layers of fine cheesecloth with a strainer underneath. And now we just have this clear dashi. Now we need to season this up. I've got some mirin, a little bit of yuzu juice again, some white soy. I'm going to just put a little bit of water over the top. We'll protect the pan from just burning. And then we're gonna go take this and broil it. Here we have our broiled steelhead, and it got a little bit nicely browned here. Just cook it until a small knife can be easily inserted. So now we're just plating. I've got a mixture of brown and white sushi rice, or short grain rice. I've got some trout roe that really, really pops. I've got some Meyer lemon, which is like the closest thing in the United States that you can get to yuzu. I love shiso, it's one of my favorite flavors. Some people call it a Japanese mint. And then I've got some julienne scallion greens, and I've got that seasoned dashi that we made earlier. Delicious. You get the richness and the sweetness, plus that deep umami flavor from the miso marinade, and that is the dish.
We are bringing our series The Dish Recipe to CBS Mornings Plus, and this time a little bit of a twist. I'll be talking and walking you through each recipe myself with help from my friend from New York Times Cooking, Emily Weinstein. And today we're making a lemony shrimp and bean stew that cooks in 30 minutes or less. It's from the latest cookbook, Easy Weeknight Dinners. Take a look. Emily, what are we cooking today?
So we are cooking a lemony bean and shrimp stew. This is a weeknight stew. This is simmering for like 10 minutes tops.
I like the sound of that.
The ingredients you need for the dish are lemon, sweet or smoked paprika, garlic, shrimp, unsalted butter, leeks, cannellini beans, chicken stock, and parsley. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create some seasoning for the shrimp. So, do you wanna do the honors of zesting the lemon?
I can zest the lemon.
All right, so why don't you grate in these 2 garlic cloves too? Throw in a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You could use sweet paprika in this recipe or smoked paprika.
Pause, sideline. Paprika?
Yeah.
Not paprika? Hey, you say potato, I say potato.
Okay.
Tomato, tomato.
I say paprika.
Let's call Dan Quayle. All right, no, how do you say it? Paprika?
Paprika.
Abracadaprika? Here we go. It's going in.
All right, there we go. And there is your nicely seasoned shrimp.
Really good.
We've got a Dutch oven over here, so we're just gonna set that over, let's do medium high. We've got about 4 tablespoons of butter here,
Okay.
half a stick.
Half a stick.
So we're just gonna melt that.
This is the best part.
Yeah, let's add the shrimp
getting
here.
nutty, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you just wanna get a nice sear on it, 2 minutes tops.
I like cooking because it's the only thing that is a necessity in life that I can actually do. I can't like make clothes to keep my family warm, and I can't build a house for them to live in, but I can make a meal.
I love that, and I really relate to it. It just brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah, me too.
So bring those out. The next step in this recipe, you're gonna cook some leeks in that delicious
Oh, and the
buttery
brothing and stuff. Yeah,
mixture,
okay,
right?
great. Love it.
First, you wanna cut off this root end over here.
Okay.
The thing about leeks is that, you know, you can see they're very dirty.
It's
right?
almost like this stuff comes from the earth.
It's almost like they planted it in the dirt on a
What
farm.
happened? The sun shine on it?
Yeah, so you wanna wash these off. I just stand it up like this, and I just sort of cut it in half, not quite all the way down. And, you know, we're just gonna chop these like, I don't know, quarter, maybe half-inch across.
Beautiful.
Those are gonna cook for about 4 or 5 minutes or so. You know, you want them to be tender and just a little bit translucent.
Looking real good.
Now we are going to add these beans. We've got rinsed white beans here, and we're adding 2 cups of chicken stock. We're bringing this up to a simmer. We're gonna let this go for 8 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
We're in the home stretch.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do in the meantime? Fold some laundry, yell at our kids?
Yes. This is looking good to me. Let's put this guy back in.
Dump him in.
Yep, let's add the parsley.
Just throw it in?
Yeah, just throw it in.
Whole leaf. All
Yep.
right, all you can handle.
And then here, let me slice this for you. Squeeze that in.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that looks gorgeous.
Really nice.
I just like to serve something like this with really delicious toasted bread.
Awesome.
And then we're good to go.
That's gorgeous.
All right.
Great. It's almost like a lemony, beany stew. With shrimp. Yeah. The leeks, which have so much potent flavor raw, actually mellowed in a beautiful way. So now they're a little bit sweet, and they hit off of the flavor in the shrimp just bam, perfectly. Time now to add a new meal to your weeknight rotation as part of The Dish Recipe, spin-off of our James Beard Award-winning series, The Dish, where we focus on just one easy-to-follow recipe. And today, our friends at New York Times Cooking share an Indian dish with a twist. It's called coconut saag with shrimp, and it can be made with any protein and packs flavor and depth and comes together in under 30 minutes. It's great.
Good morning. My name's Priya Krishna. I'm a food reporter here at the New York Times, and today we are making my coconut saag with shrimp. The ingredients you need to make the dish are shrimp, coriander seeds, cardamom, onion, ginger, garlic, spinach, lime, chili pepper, coconut milk, coconut oil, cumin seeds, red chili powder, asafoetida, and rice. So the first thing we're gonna do is dice our onion, mince our ginger, mince our garlic. So the beauty of this recipe is that everything is being chucked in a blender. So if you're nervous about your knife skills, don't be. And now we toast our spices. We're just gonna heat some vegetable oil. So we've got coriander seed and cardamom. You're just waiting until you can really smell the aroma of the spices. Now we're gonna add our onion. And isn't that the best sound of onion going shh as it hits hot oil? We're just gonna cook this until you can basically start to see through the onion. This is a Serrano chili. It's gonna add a little bit of a kick. I'm gonna go ahead and add my ginger and garlic. Onion, ginger, garlic, the holy trinity. Now we do our spinach. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the spinach in batches and let it just wilt, but still maintain its bright green color. So now I'm going to turn the heat off and throw in my chili. We're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of lime juice. You can definitely use lemon instead. And then some salt. Now we're gonna transfer our spinach mixture into a blender. We know we did it right because our saag is bright green. All right, so I'm gonna put my pan back on low heat, and we are going to add our mixture back in. And now my favorite ingredient, which is a can of coconut milk. And just look how nice and smooth that is. And now we are going to add our shrimp. The thing with shrimp is that it cooks quickly and you don't want it to overcook. So really you're just looking for it to get that nice light pink color. And then we will do our last step, which is making our chonk. It's just a tempering of fat and spices that you pour over the top. So we're gonna melt 1.5 tablespoons of coconut oil. We've got 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds. You're gonna turn your heat off, and we're gonna put in 1/4 teaspoon each of red chili powder and asafoetida, which is a tree resin that has sort of a garlicky, oniony flavor. If you don't have it, omit it, or you can use garlic powder or onion powder. All right, there we go. You can kind of drizzle it with as much panache as you want. So now we're gonna make myself a generous serving. Ooh, it's tender. It's delicious. What I love about this dish is that it tastes rich and luxurious. It doesn't weigh you down. It's an entire meal in one. Over rice, you can serve this for dinner and you're set.
Now to the next installment of our series, The Dish Recipe. It's a spinoff of our James Beard award-winning series, The Dish, where we focus on just one easy-to-follow recipe. Today, our friends at New York Times Cookie share a recipe for salmon inspired by the Canary Islands. It takes just 20 minutes to prepare, and it involves some things that we like: whiskey, a unique technique for cooking potatoes that's foolproof and delicious.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Coe, Deputy Editor at NYT Cooking, and I'm here today to show you how to make whiskey glazed salmon with salt-crusted potatoes. The ingredients that you need to make the dish are coarse sea salt, baby gold potatoes, granulated sugar, whiskey, Worcestershire sauce, and salmon fillets. The very first thing we want to get going are the potatoes. So we're combining these potatoes with 4 cups of water. And that's just enough water to cover the potatoes by like 1 inch or so. And we're gonna get those boiling. So this is a really coarse sea salt. The reason you want these really big grains of salt is that at the very end, we're gonna get that salt to crust the potatoes, and they're gonna create a really thin little crackly skin. So while the potatoes are cooking, we can actually go ahead and start the salmon. So all we're gonna do is combine a generous amount of whiskey with Worcestershire sauce, which has actually some fish in it, and so it echoes that delicious salmon flavor, and then some sugar. And while we're waiting for that to simmer, we can go ahead and season the salmon. We have our salt, pepper, So now the mixture is bubbling, and I'm gonna add the salmon fillets. And as soon as the salmon goes in here, I'm turning the heat down to medium-low because I don't want it to boil, I just want the liquid to simmer. So we're gonna go ahead and flip these guys. So at this point, the salmon is pretty much done. You can see now that it's opaque all the way through. All right, I'm gonna check on those potatoes, and I can feel that it's nice and tender. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain the water, but one thing that's really important to keep in mind is you really wanna save about a quarter cup of water, like a thin layer of water at the bottom of this pot for the final step of cooking the potatoes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just go and start shaking the pan to make sure that all of that really salty water that's left is coating the potatoes evenly. You can hear there's almost no water left. It almost sounds like tiny popcorn. The potatoes have this beautiful snowy white salt crust. One last shake because you don't actually want it to be too salty. All right, that's it, dinner's ready. So the best way to eat this dish is to get a little bit of that salmon, a little potato, and eat it all in one bite. It's so fantastic. The salty sweet potato, salty sweet salmon, all the different textures, it's really lovely. And the amazing thing is, it's really just 6 ingredients, 20 minutes, and it's your own like restaurant-style dinner at home.
Time now to share a quick meal as part of our series, The Dish Recipe. It's a spin-off of our James Beard Award-winning series, The Dish, where we focus one easy-to-follow recipe. This week, we teamed up with New York Times Cooking to bring you a sweet and spicy shrimp dish ready in under 10 minutes.
Good morning. I'm Melissa Clark, food reporter for NYT Cooking, and I'm here to make hot honey shrimp. The ingredients you need to make the dish are honey, cayenne, lime, ginger, garlic, butter, jalapeno, chives or scallions, mayonnaise, and shrimp. So shrimp can take a lot of different seasonings. They really just soak up whatever flavors you want to add to the bowl. So this is just regular honey. This is cayenne. So mix that. And then the lime zest. I'm just gonna grate it right into the bowl. You can also do the same dish with lemon. This is just a little piece of fresh ginger root. You can just use the exact same rasp grater. And then I'm gonna use the same one for my garlic. Everything just goes right through this. Salt, a little bit of pepper. So mix that really well. And now you don't need to grease your baking pan. You just can put it straight onto your baking sheet. You just want to spread it out. I'm just going to basically dot the shrimp with butter. And if you want to choose oil, you would just be drizzling everything with a little bit of olive oil. So I have my oven preheated to 500. It will cook in, I'm going to guess 5 minutes for this shrimp. I'm going to check it in 4 just in case. So while that's in the oven, I'm going to get the garnish ready. I have chives. I'm gonna mince these, and if you don't have chives, scallions will work just as well. So the thing about a jalapeno, you never know how spicy it's gonna be. So, first thing you wanna do is smell it. And as you're smelling it, if your nose starts to tingle, then you know, okay, that is really a hot one. But if your nose isn't tingling, you're like, well, how hot is it? Just give a little, just rub your finger on it. Okay, that is hot. Ooh, yeah, that one is hot. And I'm just gonna scoop out the veins and then the seeds along with it. And now I'm just gonna thinly slice this jalapeno. Ooh, they smell good. What you're looking for, you see how they've started to curl? That is when you know they're done. So they're perfect. I have my chives, I have my jalapeno. It's going right on the baking sheet with them here. And I'm just going to basically toss the shrimp with all of the greens. Oh my God, it smells so good. To me, this is I would eat this for dinner. I like to hit it up with a little mayonnaise on the side. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of lime juice on top. That's so fresh, so spicy, a little bit sweet. I mean, this is better than takeout. I don't know any takeout this good. This is delicious. It is incredibly easy. If you love shrimp, you will love this dish.
Let's talk what's for dinner, because it's time now for our series, The Dish Recipe, where we focus on just one quick and easy to follow recipe, a spinoff of our James Beard Award winning series, The Dish. And this morning, we're going to show you how to whip together a weeknight favorite that requires only one pan, meaning one pan to wash. Our friends over at the New York Times brought us this recipe. It's for coconut fish and tomato bake.
Hi, I'm Yewande Kamalefe. I'm a columnist here at the New York Times, and today we're making coconut fish and tomato bake. I have two very young kids, so I'm always looking for inspiration that's fast, easy, and flavorful. The ingredients you'll need to make the dish are ginger, garlic, turmeric, red pepper flakes, lime, honey, cilantro, coconut milk, cherry tomatoes, and fish. You can use any fish you like. The first step is to make your marinade. I'm doing full-fat coconut milk here. My honey goes in the bowl. You can also use maple syrup. You can use brown sugar. We're looking for something a little sweet. Your turmeric goes in the bowl. Salt, it's just 1 teaspoon of salt. And then my red pepper flakes. And the next step is to put my aromatics. So I love, love, love the flavor of ginger. And I don't peel ginger. I feel like the peel doesn't get in the way. I love to zest my citrus. You can see that all those nice citrus oils are collecting. And then I'm gonna go ahead and juice my lime. This is my garlic going in. The last thing I'm gonna put in my marinade is my cilantro. With cilantro and a lot of herbs, I feel like a lot of the flavor is all throughout the herbs. Stems are also really flavorful. I think there's even more flavor in the stems. The next step is to put my fish in the marinade. The fish I'm using today is striped bass. You can use any fish that's freshest. You can use haddock, you can use salmon. You can even do shrimp. If your kids are a little picky or fussy, you could definitely do chicken. So my fish has been marinating for about 5 minutes, and put my fresh cherry tomatoes. I'm gonna do a little olive oil, a little salt, and just roll them around so that they all get coated. And then I'm gonna lay my fish on my tray in between the cherry tomatoes. And then all of this marinade is gonna go over the fish. My oven's heated to 425 degrees. I'm gonna bake it for about 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna broil it to give it a little color. But that's basically it. I'm serving this with bread today. I'm gonna do just some olive oil, and I'm gonna pop this in the oven to just get some color on both sides. So my fish is done. Just loosen up the fillet from the pan. This looks so beautiful. The lovely char on the tomatoes just caramelizes the tomatoes a little bit, and it deepens the flavor of both the tomatoes and the marinade on the fish. I'm gonna add some chopped cilantro just as a garnish. And another thing I like to do is serve this with a little bit of lime. Oh, that's so good. The cherry tomatoes are really nice and juicy. All the flavors are coming through. A little hint of heat. That's a really well-balanced meal.
Now to our series, The Dish Recipe, where we focus on just one quick and easy to follow recipe. It's a spinoff of our James Beard Award winning series, The Dish. And this week we teamed up with the New York Times Cooking to bring you a recipe you can have ready in 20 minutes or less. It's a salmon dish, crispy rice on the side, and it highlights a Korean red chili flake that is a unique spice, yes, but you can find it in most supermarkets, and you're gonna want to. Take a look.
Hi, good morning. My name is Eric Kim, and I'm a cooking columnist for the New York Times. The dish today is a super quick, wonderful meal. It's a Gochugaru salmon with crispy rice. It's a meal that saved a lot of people in my life, people who need dinner really quickly. The ingredients you'll need to make the dish are Gochugaru, which is a Korean red pepper flake, maple syrup, rice vinegar, unsalted butter, cucumbers, salmon, and white rice. So the first step is just to season the salmon with salt and pepper. And I like to season from up high. You're gonna get more even distribution like this. And we just have some cucumbers here for, for snacking. I'm actually gonna salt them. When they draw out some water, they get crisper. When you place protein into a hot pan, you wanna make sure that you're doing it away from you. You'll notice that as the heat rises up, the orange sort of turns into a lighter pink. That's why I like salmon. It really tells you when it's done. Can you see that? How the orange flesh is slowly turning less and less translucent? And when it's about 2/3 of the way up, that's when you want to flip it. But that skin is nice and crispy. Salmon skin is the bacon of the sea, don't you think? Another real reason I wrote this recipe is because I wanted people to celebrate Gochugaru specifically. It has this like fruitiness that really celebrates this Korean pepper. And I think once you try it, you will use it for a lot of things. The salmon taking off the heat. And in this pan, I'm actually gonna add the rice now. What I really enjoy with this crispy rice is having one nice brown layer of crunchy, sweet, ricey, almost like a cracker on the bottom. And also, very important, a little salt. Some salt on this really brings out the nuttiness of rice. So that's gonna go for about 5 minutes. I mean, you can kind of still hear it, right? It's like, that sound is how you know you're on your way to deliciousness. And as that goes, I'm gonna just mix up the sauce, this red pepper powder, gochugaru. I'm adding rice vinegar to it. This is sort of my little trick. I love maple syrup. You need salt in this. About a teaspoon. You see how by not messing with it too much, we were able to get this nice browning. In Korean, it's called nurungji, which means scorched rice. The next thing we're gonna do is just bloom our gochugaru. We're just trying to reduce it. You're adding butter at the end. It's going to create a lovely sauce. And then when that melts, we're kind of ready. Now, all that's left to do is sauce them. This is the kind of thing that's gonna make your guests go, whoa, what is that? There's that wonderful fat, the crispy skin, the rich, wonderful, sweet, salty, savory sauce. I really think this was just a banger of a salmon dinner. I hope it introduces you to Gochugaru, and I hope you love it.
That is very easy. It's better looking than the salmon I made last night. And the best part, only one pan to wash. That's a winner.